Hello, Sales Queen Society. I am so excited to be here today talking about the content that turns your audience into buyers, the content that converts to sales, the content that has people buying from you. So welcome back to day 3 of Crickets to Clients. We've already covered so much, and today we're going to continue covering incredible things. So welcome. Monday, we talked about the overarching strategy for consistent 5 to 10K months. Yesterday, we talked about how to actually bring in ready to buy dream clients instead of 1, people who don't want what you have, or 2, people who need months of nurturing. So today we're going to talk about the content that has these people actually buying from you. So let's get into it. If you are watching me live, let me know that you are here. If you are catching the replay, then hashtag Sales Queen down in the comments below. I am so excited. So I am going to bring some fiery things here today about content that converts, and I'm really excited about it. So I want to share something about content that maybe most online coaches, business coaches don't tell you, or maybe you just simply don't know, and that's perfect. It's that content is what actually does the heavy lifting when it comes to selling your programs. Content is the actual reason people are buying from you when you're building a brand, building a business on social media. So if you want 5 to 10K months, then mastering your content is crucial. Mastering the content that has your audience saying, I need to hire her, saying, I want to work with you, DMing you, asking about your programs is so important. Your content is what has people buying, and it's what does the heavy lifting for selling your programs. So many people get confused with this, thinking that it's their messaging that has people buying. And this is why it's so important. We can't just focus on one piece of the puzzle, because if you just have messaging, you're actually missing all of the people who want your offer, but they aren't seeing that you're the one because of your content. So in reality, your messaging is just that cherry on top. So in order to have consistent 5 to 10K months, be full-time, hit 6 figures this year, you need audience of people who want what you have, content that gives them a reason to hire you, and then your messaging is the reason they're like, yeah, I'm in, let's go. It's the final piece of the puzzle that just pushes them over the edge. This is so important. So if you're not treating your content, and when I say content, it could be like your emails, your live videos, like the things that you're putting out to your people is your content, whether it doesn't matter what form it's in. If you're not treating that like it's everything in your business, then you're missing out on sales. You're leaving money on the table. You're having people in your audience who want to hire you but don't actually see you as the person to hire. My hair's all wonky today. So your content is what has people wanting to work with you. And that's what I'm going to help you create today inside this training. Content that has people DMing you, content that turns your audience into buyers constantly, and content that lands you clients on repeat. So you can have the 5 to 10K months. You can have the thriving business. You can make a full-time income and quit your 9 to 5 this year. Okay? And I'm going to share my secret recipe to content that converts, and it's going to blow your mind. So I want to know in the comments below, where are you when it comes to your content? Are you, 1, posting every single day and no engagement or likes or absolutely anything? Are you, 2, posting content, getting engagement, people loving your stuff, but they aren't actually buying? I want to know where you fall into this. And maybe there's another. Tell me if there's something else that you're experiencing with your content. Do you feel like you're posting every single day, 1, and hearing total freaking crickets? Or 2, are you posting, people are loving your stuff, they're eating it up, but they aren't buying? It's like you have a bunch of people in your audience who are cheering you on, but they're not paying customers. Where do you fall, and what do you feel about your content? Okay, so thank you so much for sharing. 1s, 2s, love, 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 love. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something. I have been posting on social media since I started health coaching in 2020. But more importantly, I did a lot of sales calls during my health coaching days. So I want to talk more about my business coaching days, and this is what I've created in the last year in my business, because I just started my business coaching last year. I have been on a handful of sales calls since I started, like probably one hand, but definitely less than 10. And last year alone, my very first year in business, I signed over 50 clients from just my content, and 99% of them were total strangers. I think I knew 3 people in real life. And at that time, I had only done 1 sales call. And yes, it did end in a sale. But for the most part, I don't really have to do sales calls. And that's because my content sells for me. How cool is that? And it's because of what I'm going to share with you inside today's training that makes this possible for me. So how cool would it be? You start your brand new business. First year, you sign 50 clients from your content. 99% of them total strangers from across the world. All from people reading your content, people getting to know you through your content. And because of that, they sign up to buy. This is the reality when you know what content leads to sales. When you know what to put in your content. So I want to share with you the most important piece of the puzzle when it comes to content that has your audience buying. I shared this with my clients, and it wasn't something I was originally going to bring into this training, but I actually think it's so important because it's a huge struggle that I dealt with in the beginning of my business, and I wish someone had told me this. And I shared this with my clients yesterday. 9 out of 10 times, like 9 out of 10 people who sign up to work with me, I didn't even know that they were interested in buying from me. I didn't know they were on the verge of buying from me because they were not engaging with my content. They were not liking it. They were not commenting on it. They were not engaging it. They weren't doing it. They weren't even like watching my stuff. They aren't liking it. They aren't commenting. They aren't engaging with it. 9 out of 10 people I don't even know. So like, I didn't even know we're going to buy. So I don't even know who is about to jump in and buy from me today. But what happens is I show up, I create content for my dream buyer today. So therefore, I get a random message saying, I'm all in. Let's go. From a person I have no clue who they are. No clue that they're watching me, no clue that they're following me, no clue that they've been consuming my content. They say, Gabby, I'm in, where do I sign up? They barely need anything else because they've gotten everything they need from my content. They've gotten everything they need to trust me, to buy from me, to not even need to ask questions about my offer because of my content. Because of my content. And this doesn't mean they've been following me for months and stalking me for months or for years. Most of the time, they've been in my world less than a month. Total stranger comes into my world, binges my content, and usually within a few days, if not hours, they're ready to buy. They're ready for the link. They're ready to purchase. But what I need you to know from this is, 1, this is what's possible, and this is what I want to help you create in your business. But 2, what I really need you to take from this is more often than not, you have no idea who's actually watching your content, who's actually the ready buyer in your audience, the client who is ready to buy from you today. More often than not, you don't know who that is. Because more often than not, they're lurking instead of actually engaging. So what does this mean when it comes to our content? This is really good. It means that 9 times out of 10, there's no evidence that your content is working. What does this mean about your content? That 9 times out of 10, there's no evidence that your content is working. There's no evidence that people are reading it. There's no evidence that it's attracting dream buyers. There's no evidence that people are wanting to work with you until you get that sale. But it may be 3 pieces of content, 5 pieces of content, 10 pieces of content that they had to binge and read and listen to in order to get to that sale. So what does this require of you? And why are so many of you struggling to sign clients no matter how consistently you post and you feel like you're creating great content? It requires you keep showing up and you keep speaking to that dream client that you want to work with, regardless of getting likes and getting engagement and getting comments and getting sales. It requires you keep showing up. You keep speaking to this dream client without instant gratification, without instant results, without getting likes and without getting comments, without knowing if anybody is actually looking at your content, if anybody is actually interested in buying. And this is the most uncomfortable part of entrepreneurship, specifically when we're building a brand on social media. It's that leap of faith that we have to take to put in the work ahead of time in order to get the sale. It's the heavy loading, like the front loading we have to do in our business to build that momentum. The leap of faith that we have to take that, okay, I'm going all in, I'm making this happen, hopefully it works, let's freaking go. And this is required of everyone. And this is why mentorship and having someone support you in your strategy and in your mindset is crucial. Because what happens when you don't think your content is working? You post an incredible piece of content today that you think was absolute freaking gold. No one likes it. No one comments. No one buys from you. What do? You get in your head. You think, okay, I'm not speaking to the right person. I'm not being specific enough. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I have to change everything. I have to speak to a different ideal client. This ideal client's not ready to buy. You pull back your messaging. Okay, maybe I'm being too hard. Maybe I'm owning it too much. Maybe I'm being too specific. You pull it back. You try to be more vague. You try to be more broad. You lose conviction. You lose power. And you stop doing the very things that were actually building momentum behind the scenes, that were actually leading to clients and sales. Why? Because you got in your head and you simply started second guessing yourself because you didn't have that instant likes, engagement, sales coming in. Anyone guilty of this? You started worrying if what you were doing was right. Why? Because it didn't look like it, because you couldn't see the result in front of you. And because you don't have someone to support you in what's right or what's wrong, you don't have someone to support you telling you to keep going. You don't have someone giving you changes you actually need to make if you even need to make them. You don't have someone stopping you from making changes you don't actually have to make. So therefore, you take a massive pivot, a massive shift, and therefore the momentum that you've built is halted and it starts over. Then you chug along, you don't see the result, you pivot again. You change things again. You shift things, you get in your head again. This is what I see so many entrepreneurs doing, and this is what my clients do, even when we work together, but they have the support from me to say, no, get out of your business, go take a nap, go take a walk. They have me to say, no, your content's perfect. Oh, let's tweak this in your content. They have someone actually looking at everything that they're doing, either telling them, no, nothing needs to change, or actually shifting what needs to change. But this is what so many entrepreneurs are doing, and maybe you're doing it too. You don't see the sales, you don't see the comments, you don't see any engagement, so you go into fixer mode. And we talked about this yesterday. You fix things that aren't actually broken because you don't see the momentum, you don't see the sales happening, you don't see the work that's actually happening behind the scenes. So because it's not happening in front of you, you think something must be wrong. And this is where so many entrepreneurs stay. And this is where I was trapped in my health coaching business for a long time. Everyone was signing clients easily and I wasn't in the beginning. So something must have been wrong with me. Okay, something must have been wrong with my content. Okay, I worked on my content. Now something must be wrong with my messaging. Okay, I worked on my messaging. Now something must be wrong with my audience. Oh, okay, my ideal client must be wrong. I must not be talking to someone. Like, it's constant fixer mode, fixer mode, fixer mode. Anyone feel like this? Like when you don't get the people liking, engaging, or the sales coming in, you immediately think that, okay, my content is a problem and I need to start tweaking things and I need to start changing things. It's okay if this is you, but it's important to bring this awareness. And this is what I want to share today. The moment you start tweaking things and you start changing things, you lose all the momentum that you built already. You go back to ground zero. And that's not what we want. We want you to keep going, not take 5 steps forward and 10 steps back. And so if that's how you feel, like you start to make traction and then you all lose it all again, it's because of that. Your content is everything in your business. And if you're spending 24/7 changing it, you're spending every day tweaking it, you're never going to have enough momentum for clients and sales to come in. Because you're always in your head. You're always overthinking it. You're always second guessing it. You're always worrying about it simply because the sales and the clients didn't come in as quickly as you had hoped. So having a mentor and having someone support you in your strategy and in signing clients and in your business is worth so much more than you think, because it's worth massive income and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But it's also worth so much time and so much headache and so much stress that you're going to go through when you're in this stage of constantly creating and tweaking and changing. Every time you restart things, you go back to the drawing board. You're starting over. And that's not what we want. We don't want you to be starting over every week. That's not the vibe. Perfect example of this is, I always compare things to health just because it's so easy. But perfect example of this is looking at a health journey. You go all in, you are so freaking good, and then Thursday something happens and you're like, okay, you go to a party, you go out for a couple drinks, you have a big juicy hamburger and you have dessert and you're like, oh my gosh, I just ruined the entire day. So now I need to just change it all and I'm just going to throw away the entire week and then I'm going to start back on Monday. That's how you're living your business right now. Because you're spending all your time tweaking and changing things that don't actually need to be changed. Instead of saying, okay, let's keep going. It's okay that this didn't lead to sales. Let's keep going. It doesn't mean that my content's wrong. It doesn't mean that my audience is wrong. It doesn't mean that my messaging is wrong. It doesn't mean that my strategy is wrong. It doesn't mean that my offer is wrong. It doesn't mean that my price is wrong. So the goal for your business, show up, do the work to sell, get visible, post content, and get out of your business. Support your clients, go on with your day, and rinse and repeat every single day for the rest of your life. Dramatic, but you get what I'm saying. It's not work in your business. An hour later, sales don't come in. You second guess everything. You change everything. You go back to the drawing board and you say, okay, I need to throw it all out the window. That is not what's going to bring you success. And I learned this the hard way from the beginning. So how do we get out of this? We learn what creates sales in our content. But more importantly, we learn to trust ourselves. We learn to recognize the things that have us getting in our head. We take them out of our business and we learn how to not play into them. We learn to trust that what we're doing is what we're supposed to be doing and is what is going to work. We learn to trust that what we're doing is going to lead to clients and sales. And here's the kicker. You may have to do this for a long time before you start actually making sales inside your business. I say to my clients all the time, entrepreneurship is jumping off the cliff and hoping that something catches you at the bottom. Trusting that something is going to catch you at the bottom. It's going all in, putting your heart and soul on the line, putting everything you have into it, going for it, and trusting that something is at the bottom to catch you. But you don't know how long you're going to fall for. And so can you keep falling? Can you keep going for it? Even when you start to think, okay, maybe nothing is going to catch me. That is the missing piece for so many entrepreneurs. And this is why they stay stuck. This is why they don't make the money they want to make. This is why they don't sign the clients they want to make. Not because they're not capable, not because they don't have what it takes, not because they don't have an incredible offer, but because they stay in their head second guessing everything, overthinking everything, and therefore changing everything, and therefore never actually building momentum for clients and sales. This is so important. The minute you don't get results in your business, do you feel this thing to pull the plug? Maybe not pull the plug on your entire business, but to say, okay, I need a different ideal client. Okay, I need different content. Okay, I need different messaging. Okay, I need a different niche. Do you go back and look for a different strategy? Okay, this strategy isn't working. I need to change it. Do you go back and look for a different offer? Okay, this offer isn't working. I need to change it. Do you go back to a different content framework? Okay, this content isn't working. I need to change it. But then what happens? You change the strategy, you change the content framework, you change the offer, and you still don't sign clients. Why? Because you're still pulling the plug before you get the results. You're not jumping off the cliff, going all in and waiting until something catches you. You're going all in, it gets too scary because something hasn't caught you yet, so you pull back. So you change, so you tweak, so you move. That is what needs to change, is giving things actually time to breathe. Excuse me. You need to stop controlling everything in your business. You need to stop following business coaches and consuming content and thinking that you need to do things differently. Because that next offer that you create, that next program you create, that next coach that you purchase from, if you're not actually implementing and saying, this is how I'm going to build my business, and you're putting a stake in the sand and committing to it long term, then you're going to be in the exact same boat. We're spending all our time trying to create long-term success with short-term fixes that probably don't even need to be fixed. And we spend our time micromanaging everything, second-guessing everything, changing everything, pivoting everything. Where what you need is to start believing and start trusting and start doing and then moving on. I bet you're putting out decent content, but when you don't get sales, you get so in your head, you try to create the perfect piece of content, and therefore it's not actually landing for your audience because it's going into convincing energy. So I needed to bring this to your attention today because it isn't just about creating incredible content. It's about who are you when your content isn't bringing sales and engagement and likes. Almost every client I signed, I didn't even know they were watching me. They came out of the blue and asked for the link. And it was an easy and effortless sale because they were already all in. And this is what I want for you. But that wouldn't have happened for me if every day I got in my head second guessing my content and changed it. My audience would be like, oh, this sounded like what I wanted yesterday, but now it doesn't. So therefore, I'm prolonging the buying process. Or they're going and hiring someone else. How scary is that? The only way you're going to have this consistent clients and sales in 5 to 10K months is if you stop changing and second guessing and pivoting everything the moment you don't have a sale come in. And you start fully committed, you stay fully committed to the journey and fully committed to creating incredible content that speaks directly to your ideal client. You stop getting in your head and letting that affect the way that you show up in your business. How is this landing for you? So because it's me and I love you, we're going to talk about what actually creates incredible content, but this is such an important piece for you to recognize and for you to understand what you're doing that's really prolonging sales and stopping clients and sales from coming in and stopping money from coming in and leaving thousands of dollars on the table. And so your shift may be more of a mindset shift than it is an actual practical shift. So creating incredible content is about specificity and speaking so clearly to one person, which we talked about yesterday. And it's owning that you're speaking to and supporting this person. It's owning that you have something to share, you have something for sale, you have something of service, you have something to support your clients. And shouting it from the rooftops and being unapologetic about it. And there may be a part or a time in your business when you were doing this, where you started your business, you were so excited about it, there was so much momentum, you were so excited, you were shouting from the rooftops, you were all freaking in, you didn't care what people thought, you didn't care about what was happening, you didn't care what people were thinking, but you didn't get sales or as many sales as you wanted. So you got in your head and you started to think, maybe this isn't going to work for me. Maybe this isn't going to happen. What do I need to do to change my client? What do I need to do to change my content? What do I need to do to change my messaging? What do I need to do to change my strategy? And you started to second guess. And so therefore you changed and you got away from your ideal client. Maybe you watered down your content. Maybe you stopped being powerful. Maybe you stopped being unapologetic. Maybe you stopped being potent. Maybe it started being for more like, okay, if I get likes, if I get engagement, I'll see that it's working. I'll see that it's what people want to hear. Creating incredible content that has your ready to buy dream clients buying from you today is unapologetically showing your clients what you do, how you support them, and what results you get them. This gives your audience a reason to hire you because your ready to buy dream client is scouring the internet looking for the solution to their problems. And if you're showing up today and you're not showing them who you are, how you help them, and what transformation and outcome you get them, they're not seeing you as someone to buy from. They're not seeing you as the person to hire. They're not seeing you as the one to buy from. So if you're creating content that's all about sharing tips and tricks, does that give your audience a reason to hire you today? No, it's nurturing your audience to maybe show them how valuable you are, how much knowledge you have. But at the end of the day, it's you trying to convince yourself that you can support them, that you have what it takes. And you have what it takes. And you're never going to feel 100% confident that you know what you're doing, ever. Content that has your ready to buy dream clients buying from you today gives your audience a reason to hire you today. It's not trying to convince your audience that you have enough knowledge. It's not about convincing your audience that you know what you're doing. It's not about convincing your audience that it's time to invest. Because your ready to buy dream client knows it's time to invest and is ready for the person who's solving their problem and getting them to where they want to go. And they choose you when you speak to them and tell them who you are, how you support them, and the transformation you offer them. You give them what they want. You show them what they need. Why are you the one they should trust? Why are you the one they should pay? What makes you different? What makes you the one they should work with? This is content that converts. This is what has your ready to buy dream clients buying from you today. This is what has them saying, okay, I'm all in, send me the link. I don't even need a conversation. It's not sharing tips and tricks to hope your audience finds you valuable, so someday they'll hire you. It's about truly speaking to the person who's ready to buy today, telling them what they need to hear and that you are the one to hire. You're the one to get them to where they want to go. You can feel the difference between trying to convince your audience to pay you because you're sitting in the corner like, hey, I have something, pick me, pick me, pick me. Versus you're so convicted in what you're doing, you're showing up unapologetic like, hey, if this is the result you want, this is what you need, and this is exactly what we do together. Ready? Let's go. This is content that converts. It's about owning how incredible you are, what you are here to do, being unapologetic about it, and not letting anything stand in the way of you being unapologetic about it every single day. On repeat, like a broken record. That's how I want you to feel when you're creating content, like a broken freaking record. Not letting the thoughts of others, the fear of yourself, your mindset stop you from doing it. Fully going for it. When we create content for engagement, we're missing that owning fact. When we create content to hopefully show our audience that we are valuable, we're holding up a sign saying, pick me, pick me. Trying to convince people that we know what we're doing. Trying to convince ourselves that we know what we're doing. But I'm going to let you in on a secret. You will never feel like you know what you're doing. You will never feel like you can 100% support your clients. You will second guess yourself for your entire career. So the goal is not to feel 100% confident in what you're doing because that will never exist. We're humans. We're going to doubt ourselves. And especially us as entrepreneurs, we're high performers. We have a little bit of perfectionist in us. Like, it's okay. But letting that get in the way of you signing clients isn't going to land you clients. So it's courageously owning what you're here to do and how you're here to support your audience. The people who are not making sales online right now are the people who are afraid of being salesy, are afraid of being too loud, are afraid they're going to say the wrong thing, are afraid they're going to offend people. But that's the reason you're not actually signing clients right now. It's the reason you're not actually making the money you want to make. It's the reason you're stuck wondering why it's so easy for everyone else to make money and it's so hard for you to make money. Because you're not owning what you're here to do, who you're here to support, and showing them that every single day. Instead, you're trying to convince them you're good enough to buy from. It's because you're trying to spend all your time trying to convince the person who said no to you 3 months ago to buy from you today, instead of actually speaking to the person who's ready to buy today. Do you want your content to convert to sales? Drop a yes in the comments below. Do you want your content to convert? Well, if the answer is no, then you don't have to put anything. But if you want your content to convert to sales, I'm going to drop a yes in the comments below. Yes, I want my content to convert to sales. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. If that's the case, your focus has to be on the person who's ready to buy today. Not Sally who joined your group 12 months ago and is engaging your content and engaging with your content, consuming your free content, but it's never going to buy. Your content needs to be focused on speaking directly to the person who's ready to buy today, showing them who you are, how you support them, and what you support them in getting to. This is what so many people are missing. Is they create content for likes and engagement, maybe without even realizing it. Wanting to please everyone, wanting to support everyone, wanting to not ruffle feathers, wanting to be valuable. Therefore, it's only supporting the people who are not actually ready and willing to purchase. If you want people to buy from you, you need to speak to the person who's ready to buy today, because that's the person who's ready to buy today. You're speaking to someone who's ready to buy 6 months from now. That's why you have a long sales process. That's why someone comes in your world and takes them forever to buy. I was searching, this is real time. I was searching for a mentor last month and I was looking at everyone's content, but it was not speaking to me. It was not speaking to the problem that I had. It was not speaking to the result that I wanted. Therefore, I didn't see anyone as the one to hire. Could they have supported me? Sure. But they weren't speaking to the problem that I had. They weren't speaking to the result that I wanted. I was ready to buy, but I didn't buy from them. And I looked at, and I engaged with probably 25 coaches looking for the perfect person. They weren't speaking specifically to me. Their content was vague. It was all over the place. They were trying to serve multiple different people. They were speaking to people who were not ready to buy today. They were speaking to people who were going to hire them in 6 months from now. It was focused on nurturing their audience instead of actually attracting and activating the person ready to buy. Therefore, I didn't buy from them. 25 coaches missed out on me getting ready to pay thousands of dollars to work for them because their content was not specifically speaking to me, a ready to buy buyer. It was not speaking to the level of problem that I had. And these coaches told me they could solve my problem, but their content did not show me that. So when there is a disconnect between the problem you solve and the content you're putting out, your audience doesn't see you as the one to hire. I am not making this up. I wish I were, because I wanted to hire a mentor. I wanted to hire someone one-on-one to work with. But their content was not speaking to me. Their content was not showing me that they could support me. Their content was not showing me that they knew what I was going through and they knew what I wanted. So I did not buy. And this is how your dream clients are feeling about your content. And this is not what we want. This is not what we want. We don't want them hiring someone else. We don't want them passing you by. We don't want you getting looked over. We want them to see you and say, this is the person I need to hire. Let's go. That's what happens when you create content like this. When you own who you're here to help unapologetically, and you show up for them, for the person who's ready to buy every single day. This is what we create when you work with me. Content that nurtures your audience is different than content that has people buying. Content that nurtures your audience is focused on the people who are not moving. It's focused on the people you have to motivate. It's focused on the people, convincing them that you're good enough. Excuse me. And it's convincing them that you have the knowledge and the understanding to get them there. Content that gets you to 5 to 10K months consistently is content that is unapologetically focused on your dream client. It's saying exactly what they need to hear, do, overcome to get to where they want to go, and showing them that this is the work that you do together. Showing them, not convincing them of the work, but showing them how incredible your work is and how it's exactly what they need. Content that leads to 5 to 10K months is content that is unapologetic, that is here to support your audience, that is owning what you're here to do. It's unapologetic. And it's of massive service to your audience. This training is content. And I am being unapologetic in what you need. This is probably one of the most valuable trainings you'll watch in your entire business. How cool is that? So if you're hearing you're motivational, you're inspirational, but you don't have people buying from you, then it's your content. This is what needs to shift. This is what we need to change. If you're spending all your time second guessing your content, tweaking it, changing it, that is what we need to shift. Owning what you're here to do, that it's okay that you don't have it all figured out. It's okay that you still have fears. It's okay that you still have doubts. It's okay that you have worries, but not letting those doubts, those fears, those worries get in the way of you owning what you're here to do, who you're here to support, unapologetically, and telling them what they need. I signed over 50 clients this year, my first year in business, from just my content. I had one sales call. Why? Because every single day I got clear on who was my ready to buy client. I spoke directly to them. I gave them exactly what they needed. I did not hold back. I did not fear. I did not let my fears, my doubts, my worries stop me from doing so. And anytime I got in my head thinking that it needed tweaking, it needed changing, it needed pivoting, I didn't let myself do it. I went for a walk. I got out of my business. I took a nap. I went to the gym. This is what I did. I am in the best shape of my life currently after having my daughter because of this, but it's twofold. This is what's possible for you. But it happens when you understand that your content is the heavy lifting into your program. That you have to have incredible content because this is what actually has people deciding if you're the one to hire. When they feel connected to you and they actually know that you can solve their problem, that is when they choose you. That is when they choose you to buy from. That is when they choose to invest today. And the people who are ready to invest today, if they're looking at your content and you're not giving them or you're not showing them you're the one to hire, that you can support them, they're not choosing you. And we need to fix this. We want to create content for people who are ready to drop thousands to solve their problem today. And when you are surrounded by people who are ready to drop thousands of dollars to work with you today, let me rephrase that. When you're surrounded with dream clients who are ready to buy and pay thousands of dollars today, and you create content showing them you're the one to hire, then they DM you and they ask to work with you, and you have, okay, perfect, I'd love to, here's the information on my program, and you have rock solid messaging, they say, I'm in, send me the link. You say, do you want to hop on a sales call? They say, no, I'm good. This is what's required. So it's not enough to just focus on your content. And one, if you're hyper focused on your content, constantly changing it, tweaking it, and pivoting it, you're not going to sign clients the way that you want. We need to focus on your content. We need to make it perfect. But we also need to focus on attracting the dream clients who are ready to buy. And we need rock solid messaging that says, yes, I'm in, send me the link. This is the funnel. This is the repeatable system. You don't need fancy things in your business. You don't need to be doing a million things. You need to attract the right audience with your content. You need to convert that audience with your content, and you need to have those people buying with your messaging. This is how you get to 5 to 10K months consistently, by knowing exactly what to do, post, and say online that has you getting seen by dream clients who are ready to buy today and converting those people into paying clients. This is what we do inside my world. This is why I have been so successful in every business I built, no matter the niche, no matter the offer, no matter what I'm doing. And this is why my clients are so successful and you see their wins 24/7. Because we don't just focus on great content. We focus on every piece of the puzzle. We focus on the entire sales strategy. We focus on the entire system so that it's always leading to clients and sales. So that you always have new people coming in, so that you always have people converting, and you always have sales over and over and over again. This is what consistent 5 to 10K months looks like. Having a repeatable system that gets you there. This is what allows my clients to have their first 10K month, sign $4,500 clients, get $10,000 contracts, make $20K in 90 days, get booked out, hire their first employee, double their monthly income in 4 weeks, and sign their first client in business in less than 30 days. This is what I want for you too. I don't want you to be surrounded by dream clients who don't buy. I don't want you putting out content every day and not signing clients. I don't want you showing up every single day, working in your business, not signing clients, and feeling like you're spinning your wheels, feeling like you don't know what you're missing, feeling like you have poured your heart and soul into this and that you don't know if it's going to work. And the reason this happens is lack of visibility, lack of content, and lack of messaging. And this is what we fix together, so that you can sign clients whenever you want, so that you can put out content and have people buying, so that you can create a new offer and have new people buy. But more importantly, what we create is a system that works, but confidence in yourself. So what I talked about at the beginning of this video is that second guessing and that worrying and that fearing. We figure out how to not move during those times and stop micromanaging everything. Stop changing everything, stop tweaking everything, stop pivoting everything, and simply let these things breathe. Let these things work. Why? Are you able to gain that confidence? Because you have support. You have me saying, no, your content's perfect, let it go. No, your messaging is perfect, let it go. You have me saying, okay, let's tweak this and change this. Okay, let's tweak this, let's change this. It's because you have someone who has built multiple successful businesses and made multiple six figures online, telling you exactly what you need to do, shift, change, or not do to start signing clients and making money, to start and continue having 5 to 10K months consistently. So my confidence in what you're doing creates your confidence in what you're doing. So there's a lot less second guessing, there's a lot less pivoting, there's a lot less changing, and there's a lot more at ease in your business. And that is probably the most important thing, my favorite thing that my clients create. When my clients come to me and they say, I don't even worry about sales again, like I don't worry about sales ever, that means so much more to me than you making 10K months. Because you can make a 10K month and then you can be in fear the next month saying, how am I going to do this? What's going to happen? What do I need? But when you are able to just sustain that and keep growing over and over and over again, that and those skills are going to make you a millionaire. They're going to make you so much money. They're going to make you everything that you want. And that is what's so pivotal. So this is what the support that I do with my clients. It's so much more than strategy. It's everything. It's your entire mindset. It's everything that you're creating in your business. It's your trust in yourself. It's your confidence in yourself. That is what we do together. And that is what I want to help you do inside Clients on Repeat. It's my 90-day signature program where we create the content, the visibility, and the messaging strategies that are going to land you clients on repeat. So you can have those 5 to 10K months. But more importantly, in between those, I help you build your confidence in yourself and in your offer. I help you build the trust in yourself to keep going even when things feel hard, even when you don't know that they're going to work, even when you want to blow it all up. I help you continue going even when it feels scary and you feel like you're at rock bottom. And because of that, you get to where you want to go. You get to have the thriving business that signs clients all the time, that makes you incredible money, that gives you the life of freedom that you want. I now have 10K months working half the time, and I get to be a mom. I'm done every day by 3 p.m. at the latest. I get to spend time with my family. I get to go do things that I love. I get to live the life that I want. That is a dream come true, and I wouldn't change anything for it. This is what I want to help you create. So I am taking on 5 people who are all in on blowing up their business at the end of this year, who are ready to do it and are ready to start 2026 off way ahead of the game. I have 5 spots at a 25% discount to work with me one-on-one. Weekly calls, unlimited support. You have my hands, eyes, ears on everything that you're doing, and massively supporting you in creating a business that you're obsessed with, that you absolutely love, and that brings you the money and the freedom that you want. That is what I help you create. So if that's what you're ready for, then these spots, you definitely want one. Comment or DM me deets for all the information. I would love to support you. You know where your content gaps are, whether it's your mindset, whether it's your actual owning of who you are and what you're here to do, whether it's you're trying to convince, you know where your gaps are, and it's time to shift them. If you want that thriving business you say you want, it's time to, what is it? Put your money where your mouth is. But what I mean by that is it's time to actually do the work and actually make the changes you need to make. You don't need to continue watching free trainings. You know what needs to shift. So let's freaking go. What are you going to do about it? Okay? I love you. Final day tomorrow. I will see you again for another training at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Bye, guys.